Turning back to the U.S. now, amid President Trump's aggressive immigration crackdown, a new trend is emerging among migrants who once sought that American dream. Many are now self-deporting or ending their journeys to the U.S. in what a new Rolling Stone article calls the Great Reverse Migration. Some migrants, despite traveling thousands of miles to reach the U.S. border, are turning around, seeking new lives elsewhere after hearing about the fallout from the Trump administration's new policies. I want to bring in MSNBC contributor Paula Ramos, who has this exclusive reporting. And Paula, great work. First of all, you are reporting on what is a massive reverse migration that's happening. These people who had traveled north, risking their lives, seeking the American dream, looking at America as the promised land, are now turning around. They're risking their lives to go south. How significant is this?
It's huge. Look, I think if you're the Trump administration, this is a win. You know, you see the southern border, you see the Darien Gap, and you see a story that's very simple. Migration has plummeted, right? During Joe Biden, in the peak of 2024, you had 3,000 migrants per day, Anna, crossing the Darien Jungle, attempting to reach the United States. In June 2025, you know how many people crossed the Darien Jungle? 10. And so if you're Trump, you are completely celebrating the situation, but they're losing sight of a key thing, right? And that is that, yes, people aren't going north, they're going south. And through that journey south, there are thousands of migrants that are letting go of something that I believe is the key asset of this country, and that is this American dream. And so the question is, what happens if you have generations of immigrants that stop looking north, that are looking for whatever they were searching for in the United States elsewhere? And I'll give you numbers very quickly just to really start understanding this trend. Right after Trump is inaugurated, in January and February of 2025, you had 3,000 U.S.-bound migrants that were waiting in limbo in Mexico that were asking for the United Nations for help to help them relocate back to their homelands. Fast forward to June 2025, you have almost 8,000 migrants that are going from Panama to Colombia, going south. So these numbers may seem small, but they're getting larger and larger, and they're increasing. And so that points to something different.
Yeah, and you point out that a large number of the migrants that are deciding to go south are from Venezuela.
Exactly.
But it's not like their lives in Venezuela or the situation on the ground there has changed. I mean, they were fleeing out of desperation to begin with, and now they're turning around. They still have the Darien Jungle, which you describe as being so treacherous and dangerous, in their way.
I mean, think of how desperate you have to be to want to, or at least to believe that life is better in Venezuela under Maduro than it is in the United States under Trump. And so you said something really important, and that is that as we speak, there are so many Venezuelans that are going back and turning back. These are people that are self-deporting from the interior, many Venezuelans that are living in limbo in Mexico, but all of them have one thing in common. And what they tell me is that no matter what, they will not go back to the Darien Jungle. Now, this Darien Jungle that almost cost their life, they will not go back. And so how do you do that? The only way to do that, and that's what we're seeing on the screen right now, is by taking a 12-hour boat ride through the Caribbean Sea. So as we speak, a lot of Venezuelans are taking buses from the southern border through Mexico into Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, they then take more buses into Panama. From Panama, they go to that point right now that we're seeing on the screen, to the eastern coast of Panama. And from that point right there, what you see is that hundreds of migrants every single day are taking these boats. They're paying $280 each. They're being packed into sort of groups of between 30 and 40 people. And they then take this 12-hour boat ride from Panama into Colombia. Now, just to give you an idea, in February of 2025, an 8-year-old Venezuelan girl died, right, because her boat sank. It's risky, yes, but it's not the Darien Jungle. But to your question, you know, what sticks with me is the desperation that drives their journey south, because it's the same thing that drives their journey north, no? To flee a dictatorship, then to get to the southern border, and then to want to leave again, because in their words, they say, I don't want to go back to a country that is very similar to Venezuela.
And there's new polling out there showing how nearly 50% of Hispanics now no longer believe there is an American dream, that it's disappearing or no longer exists in 2025. Paula, I got to leave it there. Thank you so much for your great reporting.